This is Unit 2, Lesson 3, Evaluating Expressions. This is pretty much just like order of operations, except that I give you an expression that has variables in it, and you have to fill in the value of the variables before you start doing order of operations. Let's just start off with the first one. So I want you to evaluate this expression if x is 9, y is 4, and z is 12. So the very first step that really makes it easy to get these problems correct is I rewrite the problem, and where there's a variable, I put some parentheses, and I leave it blank. I just rewrite it exactly like I see it, except in place of a variable, I put some parentheses. Then I'm at the ready to fill in those values. So I can see this is 5 times z, and z is a value of 12, and so I put in the 12 where the z is. And then minus 4 times whatever x is 9, so we plug in a 9. Plus 3 times whatever y is squared, so I put y is 4, I put the 4 right in there. Now we've just got an expression that you can do order of operations on. The very first thing to do is the exponent, so I'm going to rewrite it just like I see it. 5 times 12 minus 4 times 9 plus 3 times 4 squared is 16. Now, in order of operations, next is multiplication or division, left to right. So I see that I'm going to do 5 times 12, but I know the very next thing after that is going to be the next multiplication, 4 times 9, or negative 4 times 9, actually. And then after that is going to be 3 times 16. So we can kind of do those three all at the same step. So 5 times 12 is 60, minus 4 times 9 is negative 36, plus 3 times 16 plus 48. Now we do the first adding and subtracting that's on the left. 60 minus 36 is 24 plus 48. 24 plus 48 is 72. So I have evaluated the expression, meaning I took that expression and I came up with a value that it's equal to. All right, let's try number 2. Again, first thing I'm going to do is rewrite that expression. In place of x, I'm going to put some empty parentheses, minus, and then we have a parenthesis expression, but you can see that inside is z minus 2 times y. So I'm going to have some parentheses for 2 times y, the parentheses for the y value, and then I have those other parentheses. So to make it less confusing, I use brackets. You can see that the parentheses there in pink are what I replaced with brackets so that I can know which one goes with which. So now we're going to say I need to fill in x, so x is 9, minus, then inside the parenthesis, which I'm using as a bracket, is the z value. Z is 12, so I put a 12, and in place of y, y is 4, I put a 4. So there we go. Now it's order of operations. I look for my grouping symbols, and I've got those brackets, and then inside the brackets there's still a smaller expression. So the first thing is 2 times 4. So I rewrite 6 times 9 minus bracket 12 minus 8. Now I still want to do inside my grouping symbols, so I'm going to do 12 minus 8, 6 times 9 minus 4, and I've completed the computation, so I don't need the grouping symbols anymore, so I just write it as a minus 4. Then I do 6 times 9 is 54, minus 4 is 50. All right, now I want you to give this one a try. Go ahead and pause the video, give it a try, and then see how you do. All right, here we are. Here are the answers. You can see that you can fill in the values of the variables and then work the numerator one step at a time and the denominator one step at a time. Final answer is 2. If you got something different, then go ahead and fix it. All right, we're going to do another few examples. This time you can see the value of our variables some of them are negative, and so that makes things a little bit more complicated. So now this is important to pay attention to the differences here with the squaring. It says x squared, so we want to put the parentheses and the square on the outside of the parentheses. Right here, this 2 was on the outside of the parentheses because whatever the value of x is, that's what's being squared. So we put the value of the x inside the parentheses, the square goes on the outside. Now here we've got 3 times y inside parentheses, that whole thing is being squared. So we've got 3 times parentheses with the brackets, then that whole thing is being squared, plus 2 times whatever z is. So now we're going to fill in our values. X is negative 4, y is 2, z is negative 5. Now, order of operations, I'm going to look at my grouping symbols. We got the brackets. I need to first do the multiplication inside. So I'm going to do 3 times 2 and get 6. Now, order of operations says I need to do exponents next. So we've got a negative 4 squared, and we have a 6 squared. So doing that, we've got negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. 6 squared is 36. Next, order of operations is going to be multiplication. So we get 16 plus 36 minus 10, because 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And then we do the addition left to right, and the subtraction. Final answer is 42. Another one. This one seems simple, but with that subtraction in there, it makes it a little tricky. So it's super important that you write the parentheses, especially when the variable values are going to be negative. So I'm going to fill in for negative 4 for x, 2 for y, negative 5 for z. Now my parenthesis method really makes it easy to keep track of the subtractions and the negative values. Now, we want to do negative 4 minus 2. You've got to remember, negative 4 minus 2, you can think of it as a negative 4 and a negative 2. What do we get when we do negative 4 plus negative 2? We get negative 6. And we're going to write minus negative 5. Now, when we go to do negative 6 minus negative 5, we know that minus a negative is the same as adding a positive. So that's negative 6 plus 5, which is negative 1. All right, last one. You give this a try. See how you do. All right. Take a look. Answer is negative 3. Take a look at each step carefully if you got it wrong and see where you went wrong and try to figure out why and why I did it the way I did and fix it so that you come out with negative 3. All right, that's it. Put your note sheet in your binder. I'll see you in class tomorrow.